Sophia Elena, setting the record straight. Since I posted my March on Washington video, I've observed numerous comments, not just on my YouTube channel, but on several websites where the video was posted. I have read articles regarding the march that make claims about the crowd size, and I am here to set the record straight. First of all, any claims that my footage was doctored in any way are untrue and show complete lack of respect. I take my journalism very seriously and would never mislead anyone regarding the facts. You will note that my video makes no claims about the crowd size. I have no affiliation and I fund my own reporting. I report the facts and nothing more. If a video or an article has my name on it, I stand by it and realize that everything I produce is a direct reflection upon my reputation. Furthermore, despite my desire to remove comments that contain foul language, I have left everyone's comments intact. Please be aware that children also use the internet and read comments on my videos. I would advise that in the future, those wishing to comment be respectful and omit the foul language. Not only is it disrespectful, it takes away from any valid discussion. It appears that several of the comments that contain foul language have been voted off and are no longer visible, which further proves my point. I can report, and you can verify, the majority of comments that contain foul language are from those who seem to disagree with the protesters' First Amendment rights to peacefully assemble. Those who claim to want to help the common good propagate a great deal of hate and foul language, including racial slurs and homophobic innuendos. Anyone who claims that a group of people are racist and proceeds to include racial slurs in their own comments is hypocritical. Name-calling is not a productive form of communication. I attended the taxpayer march on D.C. to report the facts. I can report that everyone that I encountered was friendly, well-mannered, and seemed to truly care about their country. Under no circumstances did I witness any foul language, rowdy behavior, or hateful speech, as I've witnessed time and time again in the comments section of my video. I arrived at Freedom Plaza at 9:30 a.m. The march was scheduled to start at 11:30. As soon as I arrived at the stage at the center of the plaza and recorded my introduction, the park police announced that the plaza had reached maximum capacity and asked that the protesters disperse. With my cameraman recording, the MC announced the beginning of the march 1.5 hours before it was scheduled to start. We attempted to reach the front of the sea of people to record from the center of Pennsylvania Avenue. As we neared the National Archive, it was clear that those marching were already arriving at the U.S. Capitol building, and it was impossible for us to reach the front of the massive crowd. Without a tripod, my cameraman held the camera above his head and stood near the middle of Pennsylvania Avenue, which is 100 feet wide. The police kept most of those marching packed on the street and off the sidewalks. For nearly 1.5 hours, my cameraman stood in one place, switching hands so the blood could run back into his fingers. After 52 minutes of recording, he quickly switched the tapes as the first one ran out. 34 minutes later, although there was still no end to the march in sight, he stopped recording and met me in the press area behind the stage at the Capitol as the events were already underway. In the original video, 86 minutes of march footage was sped up over 3,000%, compressing the footage into just under 3 minutes. The dramatic compression caused the footage to blur. Those making comments that claim that my video is a forgery, doctored, or looped are simply verifying what I concluded on Saturday, that the estimates that the media is providing are inaccurate, and it's clear that many more protesters are in this video than reported by most news organizations. In addition, despite questioning my credibility, pundits are claiming that the number of people in the portion of the march that I captured on video is unbelievable. This is precisely what I concluded. Unbelievable. I have never seen so many people in one place in my entire life. In addition, it is accurate to conclude that most media outlets, which could have reported this story as I did, chose not to, which leaves many doubters without the facts, causing many to appear misinformed or simply argumentative. Therefore, I have uploaded this copy of the march footage. This time it is only sped up 900%, retaining the image quality but keeping it within the size limit of a single YouTube video. It is a little bit easier on the stomach at this speed, and I encourage that anyone who wishes to make claims about the size of the crowd start by counting the people in the video. At 5:46, my cameraman switches the tape, so the image jumps a little bit. He assures me that it was a very quick switch, so don't add too many protesters to your count to make up for the lost footage. It seems that somehow people have been conditioned to disbelieve their own eyes. I ask those whose first reaction is to doubt reality why they would waste their energy fighting the truth and what has caused some people to challenge the truth. In addition, many claims were made regarding the crowd size once the protesters reached the U.S. Capitol. Fortunately, my cameraman took additional footage from the U.S. Capitol terrace. I read false claims stating the crowd didn't extend beyond 3rd Street, probably because the mall was fenced off for another annual event, an event that the Washington Post covered despite ignoring the march on Saturday. For verification, you can read about the Black family reunion in the Post. Now that everyone has had the opportunity to reach their own conclusions about the size of the crowd, I ask you to look one step further. If you accuse me of doctoring footage or misrepresenting the attendance of this event, ask yourself why. In the future, I suggest that collectively we try to search for the truth instead of jumping to conclusions. If the source or sources you used for your news helped you reach your conclusions, in the future consider finding alternative sources to verify your information. I was there, and I brought you the facts as I promised to do, unbiased, unfiltered, and undefined. Sophia Elena reporting. Thank you for watching.
Here comes the mob! 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 Here comes the mob!
Tell us what happened.
Here comes the mob! Here comes the mob! Here comes the mob! Here comes the mob!
We are the mob.
We're here!
Guys, quit that.
We paused for you out, aren't they?
Oh!
USA! 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 USA!
Sign away.
Election Day! Make them pay Election Day! Make them pay Election Day! Make them pay Election Day!
250, 251. All right, there's like 300.
Yeah.
399, 400. There's like 500 people here.
Guys better hurry up, I'm running out of tape.